The king may rule over land and sea. The lord may live right royally. The soldier ride in pomp and pride. The sailor roam over ocean wide. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The writer thinks, the poet sings, the craftsman fashion wondrous things. The doctor heals, the lawyer pleads, the miner follows, the precious leads. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The merchant, he may buy and sell. The teacher do his duty well. But men may toil through busy days, or men may stroll from pleasant ways. From king to beggar, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The farmer's trade is one of worth. He's partner with the sky and earth. He's partner with the sun and rain, and no man loses for his gain. And men may rise, or men may fall, but the farmer, he must feed them all. God bless the man who sows the wheat, who finds us milk and fruit and meat. May his purse be heavy, his heart be light, his cattle and corn and all go right. God bless the seeds his hands let fall. For the farmer, he must feed us all.
Yes, and it's a big welcome too, by the way. It's just, it's 7:12 in the morning. 12 past, what time is it? 7 in the UK? I'm not sure if it's 7 or 8. 7, that's right. Maybe not, 6. 7. Could be 10. Wade, he'll tell us what time it is in the UK. I've forgotten. Anyway, and it's here though, it's 6:15 in the morning. No, it's not. It's 13 past 4 on a Saturday. Is that right, Wade? Anyway, now we've got a very big show, got actually a big couple of hours, some great guests coming up. I want to just talk quickly about and play this clip. The government has rushed through in the UK the inheritance tax changes with no proper consultation. Family farms and businesses are at risk. Now, jobs, heritage and communities will be lost. Cam, if you could play Destroyed, please.
Hi folks, I'm Tom Martin. I'm a farmer from here in Cambridgeshire and I'm asking for your help to support me as I take the government to judicial review. Last October the 31st, they announced changes to agricultural property relief and business property relief that will affect businesses the length and breadth of the UK. Businesses that employ people in your local community. Businesses that are part of that local community. Businesses that look after the environment like we do here on this farm. Businesses that are the beating heart of our wonderful economy here in the UK. The government thought that they would be generating around 500 million a year tax take, and most independent bodies think that's not true. They also think that the negative impacts on the economy are far greater. The government thought they would be reducing tax avoidance. They're not. The government thought they'd be supporting family businesses. They're not. They didn't consult widely enough, they didn't consult appropriately enough, and this judicial review will challenge them on that. It will hold them to account, as we the people should hold our government to account when they don't behave appropriately, when they don't consult appropriately, when they make sweeping legislation in a moment of desperation. I think it's up to us all. I'm very happy to be part of this judicial review and to put my head above the parapet, and I'm asking you to help. Whatever you can give, £5, £10, £20, would you pledge it today to help us to fight this legislation and to save family businesses across the UK that are employing people in your local community, that are looking after the environment around us, that are important members of the local community, that are driving your local economy. Those businesses are under threat. They're under threat from our government action, and that needs to be challenged. And I'm happy to do that at judicial review, but I need your support. Pledge whatever you can today. Thank you so much for your help.
There you are. It's really very serious if you think about the UK. In fact, we'll have Tom Martin on towards the end of the hour. It's going to be a nice chat about how the farmers there can make their lives a bit better and how they can do something. And I don't know what they can do in regards to the inheritance tax. The UK government, led by Keir Starmer, is determined to destroy or make the lives of farmers almost impossible. And the same thing in Australia. We'll talk to Wade very shortly about that. I'll show you how bad it is in the UK with the inheritance tax. I'll play you this clip. Have a look at it. It goes for about, let me think, probably 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but it has a great meaning to it. Cam, if you could play Gone.
I'm losing the farm today.
Very sad, isn't it? Handed down, most likely, from generation to generation. And this government, which I could probably describe, but I won't because we have children listening, so I won't call them a pack of bastards. Otherwise, they'll hear exactly what mum and dad say. And Wade also. I wonder if he says bastard. One of our politicians used to stay here, keep the bastards honest. That was one of our politicians. Anyway, very, very sad indeed. Wade Northausen is founder of Billboard Battalion. Wade, thanks for joining us. Can you just tell us, because we played an 8-minute video at the top of the hour in Australia. It shows you that the regional towns are being bashed around their head. Banks, post offices, thank God the pub is still there, but that could go too. It's a terrible situation. How do we fix it?
So the main way to fix this, Mike, is to get people to understand that they're deliberately doing this. We're just looking at, old mate in the UK there. You've got one fella who wants to have some sort of a judicial review, and you've got another bloke there who, it appears at face value, has lost his farm, and as you rightly said, we're not sure how that he came by it in the first place. But I'm here to tell you that government policy deliberately is set up to take farmland off farmers and destroy those very towns that you're talking about, Mike. I know over years and years and years of things I've been involved with, the first thing to go is the community. That's the first thing that's hit. So this is a very serious problem. It's very, very deliberate, and the towns that we've seen around here over the last 20 years, you lose the pub, you lose the post office, and in particular you lose the bank. I know a number of towns around here where I grew up, they may have had 3 or 4. The 4 big banks in those towns, and now many of them have got nothing, and they're battling to have a post office. They'll throw the post office in with the general store or something to try and keep that going. So yes, this is a very, very serious problem, and this is something that I would like to speak to in terms of how we've got here and where to from here.
Okay, tell us, how did we get here and where to from here?
So, Mike, the whole thing, as I keep saying, is the big picture stuff. Now, government, it is their objective to shut down rural and regional areas. it is their specific objective to shut down farmers and food production. And I mean, you look at whether you're talking about the UK, Australia, the Netherlands, Germany, France, the US, we're seeing farmers being shut down everywhere. At the same time that we've got the terrorists who run the United Nations are saying they're going to be looking at global famine. Well, they're deliberately shutting down the farms to create a global famine. So I was at a meeting just a couple of days ago, and we've got so many people, and I've seen this over decades now. We've got so many people in our rural and regional communities who try and set something up to respond to a problem that government is creating, and they'll go through virtually the same steps, but they refuse to take that extra bit of a step and say what I just did, and say that this is a specific plan to shut down agriculture. They just they've got what I have come up with a bit of a term is instead of virtual fencing, I think it's social fencing or political fencing, is that people just refuse to say what's happening. They refuse to look at it. And then when we see so many people who do run these fight back groups or representative groups or whatever, they do not have the knowledge that is so critically important as to the history of why things are happening. And they keep going on with the same stuff, which is very, very low level, uninformed, and really doesn't bring any punch to anything. So, we need to dramatically change what we do. You've got people such as myself who have been doing this for decades, and I can tell you exactly what the story is and what we need to do to fix it. But these people don't want to. For some reason, they seem to not want to upset anybody. A lot of the people who set up these groups are farmers who are very, very rich. They have enormous amounts of money. And at this point, they can't see how this stuff's going to affect them. And they put up a token effort, but they will not tell people what the truth is because they don't want to be seen to be that nutter or that conspiracy theorist. They like being the president of the footy club, or they like walking down the street and everybody calls them by name, and they're respected in the community. They don't want to take that step. They rather play the safe game. They don't want to go outside their comfort zone. And this is what we see all over the countryside. And I'm dealing with some people just like that right now. And that is why we're in so much trouble, is because these people just will not fight. They won't tell people what's really happening. And how we fix this is we bring on, and let's just look at the agricultural sector in its own right. If we could get the so-called social leaders in our groups, in our communities, or the industry leaders in a bit higher up, if we could get them actually to tell the people the truth of what's happening, then we could together rally the forces that we have. And in Australia here, our agricultural sector has enormous wealth, massive amounts of money, and enormous social credibility and political power. And they make sure they shut it down. They will not let this happen. So this is a big part of our problem. Matter of fact, it's most of our problem, because you have two things, Mike. You've got a government who works for the UN and the World Economic Forum and the WHO. They're in the business of shutting down our country, shutting down our food supply and our farmers, putting them out of business. And the people who are doing that for them is our government. And the people who are supposedly standing up to fight against that will not fight. They won't do it. And so therefore, they're going to get crushed. They're going to get smashed because something's wrong with them up here in the brain, and they just will not fight. They'd rather go bankrupt and be cent broke. They'd rather see people committing suicide all over the place, because they will not have a go, and they won't listen to someone such as myself who knows this stuff and can get this up and going.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. And I mean, we just see we have a saying that with our other programs we call them death and destruction. Truly, this is getting to be as bad, and I never, having lived in the land, because it's always tough, but this is just, this is like the heavens have opened up and decided to swallow the rural community, country community, whether they're in the UK, New Zealand, the US, anywhere, Australia. It's just terrible. If somebody wants to just talk to you, Wade, maybe bounce some ideas off you, how do they do that?
Well, you can get on to us, Mike, at billboardbattalion.com. We've got the Facebook page, Billboard Battalion, and we're on most of the social media platforms. So, we do many town hall meetings, public meetings, podcasts, interviews. We did a live broadcast from the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne on Monday, and we're streaming straight into the UK and all around the world. So, we're starting to get some people who are taking notice, and I'd say to people, stop playing the game by their rules. You've got fellas there who are talking about judicial inquiries. We've got ones over here talking about royal commissions. Stop playing by their rules and start bringing the people. The only weapon we have left, Mike, is we the people. And it's a powerful force. But we just need to get others who'll come on board and say, yes, that's our only answer we have left.
Mm. It is terrible, and it's worse than most people think, unless you're a farmer, then or a grower, how bad it is. Wade, always a pleasure. Wade Northausen, founder of Billboard Battalion. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Catch up with you at another stage to talk about more woes, but these conversations, they always have a positive outlook to it, because we can win. You can win. But sometimes you need the support around you. And there are plenty of organisations too in both countries, in the UK and Australia and New Zealand, that are there to help. And sometimes just to have a conversation with someone, it does you the world of good. And that's from personal experience. Coming up next, we'll talk to, I think, one of the cutest farms and most magnificent people, with some stunning footage right here very shortly on the Country Telegraph.
Too many sins? Did you see the pain I was in? My scars did not heal well. They replaced my skin. Now nothing can come in. This is where I go. From here to I don't know. I don't care where this will end, but I'm on the wagon again. And white, but the stains remain. Sorry if I betrayed you, but I will betray again. My regrets, I lay you down by the creek. I will not join when all angels meet. This is where I go. From here to I don't know. I don't care where this will end, but I'm on the wagon again. Ooh, on the wagon again. again. These clouds, I know them well. Sister, don't save my soul. The lights blur my view, but my hands are on the wheel. Ooh, on the wagon again. Ooh, on the wagon again. This is where I go. From here to I don't know. I don't care where this will end, but I'm on the wagon again.
So there you are. This just a nice piece of photography or a video. Great piece of music there, all about farming, whether you're in the UK, US, anywhere. Farming is farming. It's got soil, and in soil you plant things. In fact, I have to tell you, this is one of my favourite stories in many, many years. Stephen, and now I've got to, by the way, get my my Welsh worked out here, and I don't know, so I will be told off later on. But Stephen and Sue Dudley are owners of the, I think it's the Berllan Dywyll. Is it now? Okay, now I told you I can't speak Welsh, but your farm, which is otherwise known as Dark or Black Orchard Farm, is an amazing farm. First of all, how do I pronounce that name?
It's Berllan.
Excellent.
I still can't pronounce it either, so you're in good company.
But is it so? Should I have a few whiskies before and then try it, or should I never touch the stuff?
It would certainly help.
Your farm, though, it's a small 27-acre farm, which still isn't that small. I mean, it's small compared to big ones, but it's good size. Has been brought back into agriculture with chickens, rare breed pigs and goats, Celtic rainforests and traditional wildflower hay meadows, and the producers of eggs and pork for sale as ethically as possible. Tell us about your farm, tell us about the pigs, and you both had entirely different careers before getting your hands dirty. And I saw some of the footage, and we'll play that as we talk. There's a lot of mud. Am I correct?
Oh, yes.
So how did you get into it? And what you mean? First of all, Sue, what was your career?
I read zoology at Aberystwyth and then joined the Royal Navy with a short career commission. Left the Navy, had a number of jobs, recruiting people to boarding schools, IT training, set up a photography business, but always wanted to come back to Wales, always wanted to farm.
Amazing. And what about you, Stephen?
I spent 27 years in the Navy, Mike. Sadly, I never got to Australia. Always wanted to, but never got the chance. But I did serve alongside Australian troops in Kandahar in Afghanistan in 2008. And I've always wanted to farm. We had more holidays together when we were courting and after being married in Wales than anywhere else. I think there's something about the land that drew us. And it may be very wet, but there's something powerful about land, and I think there's perhaps Wade has a very good point. There's a lack of understanding in the cities for what rural life is like, and buses and employment opportunities just aren't available in the countryside because it's so easily forgotten.
Well, as we're talking, I'm going to play some video here, and you'll be able to see it. So maybe you could, as we're chatting, just pop in and tell us. I mean, first of all, I see this very big pig, but obviously Mother is just taking it lying down.
That's Dywyll. She's one of our large black sows and does what it says on the tin. They're very large and they're very black.
They are.
They have wonderful temperaments, as you can see.
They're so beautiful. And what made you get into or breed these pigs? And I see photos on your website that it's just like they're like family.
They really are, yeah.
Are they
We always
intelligent creatures?
Sorry?
Are they intelligent creatures?
Oh, very much so, yes. They all know their names, they come to call.
Wow, look at it.
The breeding pigs know all the paddocks, so when we're moving them, we just point them in the direction to the next paddock and they trot off across the 10-acre field and take themselves to where they need to go.
Mm. And there's so, but I look at their little piglets. I mean, I'm fascinated with pigs. We had a couple of when I was on the land. These little pigs, they're little, but if you look at mother, um, how long does it take for a little pig to get to be a big pig?
To get to full grown size, about 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really keep them as a pet inside. I would imagine as they were
Oh, no.
as they were jumping around. I would imagine though, when they hit the 18th month mark, your furniture would not be existent.
Oh, no. You can see what they do to the land. They can be quite destructive.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And then we have these other beautiful pigs here. I see that you know them by name too, and it's. I think the cinematographer, a video person, was Sue here, and Stephen. But you actually you made mention their names, and I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful story. But you're also into keeping a rare breed of pig alive, and at the same time, you are respecting the soil that you're working to, because you're keeping away from all the uglies that are out there to make your crop grow bigger. So tell us about that.
Well, you're absolutely right, Mike, that you have to look after the land. We are not organically certified, but actually we are sustainable and regenerative, which means that we try not to take out of the land more than it can sustain. So the dung on the land is harrowed in. That provides nutrients which little dung beetles, they're beautiful little creatures, they're like jewels, they're very brightly coloured. They incorporate the dung back into the soil. We take a single cut of hay a year. Fundamentally, there's a lot of this country and indeed your continent, which is not good enough to grow, to cultivate crops. Excuse me. So what you can grow is grass. And the fabulous thing is, of course, that raising animals transform grass into something wonderful that we can eat. And perhaps, again, Wade's message is downbeat. I think ours should be upbeat. It's about the customer. And we are seeing that a lot of people are interested in where their food comes from, that it's ethically and sustainably grown, and the welfare standards are high. So the pigs are very intelligent. Think about dogs, they're that sort of intelligence. So to keep them in confined spaces without the ability to exercise their natural behaviours, digging and rooting and eating forage, is cruel. Whereas if you keep them well and they're happy, they'll provide fabulous meat. Wade is very right that scale in agriculture is driving out the small producer, but it actually, as long as you're not competing with the big producers and the supermarkets, you can produce a really good product. The current pork price in this country is only just over £2 a deadweight kilo. We're not competing with that. People are happy to pay £10 a kilo for what we produce. And perhaps I can just show you the pork itself. It's very different from supermarket pork. It's to what extent you can see, it's marbled. It's a very dark meat, and the fat is very good for the heart. It's been scientifically shown that the minerals and nutrients in this meat, because it's been slowly grown with high welfare standards, is miles different from the sort of thing that's being produced by the supermarkets, trying to drive the price down instead of trying to bring the quality up.
It's amazing. And it's funny, not funny, but it's interesting that if you look after the land, and it gets harder if you have large acreages, of course. I lived on an orchard that was we were growers. We had oranges and mandarins and terrible things like that, which I hated. By the way, when I was 18, I left as soon as I could because my hands were too delicate to be doing farming. I mean, I was a very sensitive new age person. And my father, I think he forgave me just before he passed away. But until then, I was a great disappointment in his life. Your acreage at 27 acres, is it an expensive operation or is it a good business model?
Yes, a bit of both. Our priority is saving the rare breed. So we don't grow as much pork for sale as we might. And we're also keen to sit lightly on the land. We've got rare wildflowers, we've got rare habitat. You mentioned the Celtic rainforest. Millions of years ago, the whole of this land was forested, and the forest had been cleared away, except in the inaccessible steep bits. And the mosses and other are extraordinary. So we want to sit lightly on the land. If we went more intense, we would cause harm. And I suppose this is what we think philosophically we ought to be doing. That if there were more small producers looking after the land, not grubbing up the hedges, not saying, oh, it'll be more efficient if we have a field which is 10 acres, as opposed to the patchwork of fields with hedges which provide the habitat for wildlife as well as the farmed animals. So everything's a balance, and it's down to the consumer. And if the consumer wants cheap food and low quality food, that's what will be produced. If the consumer says, well, I don't eat meat every day, but the meat I do eat, I want to know that it's lived and died well, then it becomes possible to produce that. But our priority is actually live animals. And of the 7 piglets that we've got on the ground weaning today, we're just about to go out and spend time with them. 2 of those are going off to be breeding animals. So what's the line now, my love?
They're Bess's, and there's 17 of those in the world. So when these 2 are registered, you'll go up to 19.
Wow. I mean, I think you're I just truly, when I was editing the video, I was going to put the whole lot in. I thought, no, we won't see you. But it was just so gorgeous. Tell me this, do the pigs hide away from you at Christmas time?
Not at all. They all have special Christmas meals with apples and carrots as a treat.
But not ham?
Not ham, no.
I don't like Grandma. Push it to the side of the plate. That's just terrible. But you guys are fantastic. When Jen told me that you're going to be on the show, I thought that truly this does epitomise what farming is all about, even though on a smaller scale, but a very clever scale. And maybe and not everybody can do it, but maybe farmers can look at avenues like this to diversify and make their life a little more enjoyable. Because at the moment, I mean, there's been droughts. You've got the government, which is like 10 droughts wrapped up into one, and they aren't all that keen to look after the farmer, especially with the inheritance tax and the devastation it will create. Just quickly, if somebody wants to find out more about your pigs, and maybe they could adopt one for 18 months and then give it back to you because they're too bloody big. So how do they get a hold of you?
Our website is black-orchard.co.uk, and we're also on Facebook as Black Orchard.
Fantastic. As a takeaway, I mean, okay, 2 things. Did you ever think you would be doing this when you were sailing the seas? And secondly, what's the thing that's stuck with you the most, the takeaway from what you're doing now?
We never thought that we would end up here. We knew we wanted to keep pigs, but we never realised quite how much we'd fall for them and quite how much other people would as well. And our pork is sold out months in advance. We have run courses. the pigs are just wonderful. So, no, it is a bit of a surprise.
Yep.
And the takeaway, Stephen?
I think the takeaway is that it's possible for small producers to make a big difference, particularly with rare and traditional breeds. If you've only got a couple of animals, keep rare animals. They're different, they produce a very different meat, and every animal counts. The Rare Breed Survival Trust, they're worth looking up as well, have a sort of a motto, eat them to save them. And if we could go back to the rare and traditional breeds, which were designed for the climatic conditions of where they're found. And this goes for sheep, it goes for cattle, and for pigs. And that diversity and that difference and that richness of different life and animals is so important. Don't throw it away.
And do you have I keep talking, but I love pigs. And the farm, do you have your favourite, or don't you have favourites?
Oh, we shouldn't have favourites, but I think Dywyll, she is just gorgeous.
And it's just a fully...
It means flower place in Welsh, and she is so pretty.
So pretty. Isn't that beautiful? Stephen and Sue Dudley, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed this immensely, and you've made my day, which has been pretty stressful like every day. Thank you very much for your time. God bless. This is the World, not the World Today, but the Country Telegraph on the World Today. Cam, Blake.
The king may rule over land and sea. The lord may live right royally. The soldier ride in pomp and pride. The sailor roam over ocean wide. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The writer thinks, the poet sings, the craftsman fashion wondrous things. The doctor heals, the lawyer pleads, the miner follows, the precious leads. But this or that, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The merchant, he may buy and sell, the teacher do his duty well. But men may toil through busy days, or men may stroll through pleasant ways. From king to beggar, whatever befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The farmer's trade is one of worth. He's partner with the sky and earth. He's partner with the sun and rain, and no man loses for his gain. And men may rise, or men may fall, but the farmer, he must feed them all. God bless the man who sows the wheat, who finds us milk and fruit and meat. May his purse be heavy, his heart be light, his cattle and corn and all go right. God bless the seeds his hands let fall. For the farmer, he must feed us all.
It's sort of ramping up in the UK. By the way, welcome back to the Country Telegraph. I'm Mike Ryan. My guest is Tom Martin, known as Farmer Tom, owner of the Village Farm, and a social media influencer. He's running a campaign at the moment against the inheritance tax, which I think is just brilliant. Tom, thanks for joining us. Tell us about this campaign.
Yeah, well, it's a campaign brought about by a group of family-owned businesses, and we are taking the government to task. We believe that the government didn't consult appropriately, didn't consult widely enough before they made the announcements last October that they'd be bringing in changes to agricultural and business property relief starting in April 2026. the reliefs were designed to minimise people avoiding tax, but also to support family businesses. And actually, we believe, and seems like everybody outside the Treasury believes that it actually does the opposite. There's still be people able to avoid tax, and it's going to cripple, and it will absolutely cripple family businesses the length and the breadth of the UK in agriculture and beyond.
Can it be? I think it's gone through now. It's actually working now, I believe. Pull me up if I'm wrong. If it is now into it, can you rewind it? Can you go? Can you stop it?
Well, it's been announced to start next April 2026. That's when it will begin. So it certainly can be changed, and the government have made some changes recently where they've realised they've made some mistakes. Quite literally, and I'm not one who tends to over-egg these things. Quite literally, everybody is in agreement that this policy is not correct. And if they'd consulted appropriately, they would have or could have come up with any one of a number of different scenarios that would have achieved those objectives, that would have supported those family businesses, which is the actual lifeblood of the UK economy, and they would have done it without the issues that we're now seeing. And Mike, let me tell you, we've already seen a suicide. We're already seeing people who are refusing cancer treatment because their life's work, their blood, sweat, toil, and tears have gone into building up their farm or their family business, and they want to pass it on to the next generation without a tax that will basically force the family to break up that business and sell it off. We're operating in UK farming on between 0.5 and 1% margins, and these reliefs would have meant that businesses, that land can be passed down to the next generation. As it is now, there will be a 20% inheritance tax, a death tax, a tax on misfortune, really, the wrong death at the wrong time. And those businesses are largely unable to pay those taxes without being broken up and sold off.
In Australia, and both, by the way, we do this for both Australia and the UK, and it's still a relatively new program. But in Australia, in Victoria, the government there has thrown all these taxes. That's what I was thinking about. The taxes came into being about 2 months ago. And taxes are a great way for government to raise money. They're an excellent way of destroying a particular industry, aren't they?
They are. I mean, taxes. They raise money, but also they change behaviour. And what's happening? And of course, in inheritance tax, you're taxing something, a bit of property that if a farmer's bought some land, they've paid tax on their income from the work they've done to save that money. They've paid tax on the purchase of the land. And this is then really a triple tax, and we can get into the rights or wrongs of inheritance tax, which I know is a different situation in Australia. But this judicial review will basically show whether the government did consult appropriately or not, and we believe they didn't. Interestingly, they've recently announced or made an announcement that they're going to change the requirement on themselves to consult like this. I mean, it's pretty coincidental that that's come out kind of within 7 days of us putting our judicial review in. But we will wait and see what happens. We're waiting now to see whether the review is accepted. And actually, the Speaker of the House of Commons has also registered an interest. This could have some small constitutional impacts, but the Speaker of the House of Commons has announced that they'd be like to be part of the case as an interested party as well. So it's a big thing, but this tax is an enormous thing. So anything we can do to help the government to think again. It's not about trying to beat them. It's trying to actually ensure that they're doing what they should be doing as government, consulting appropriately, bringing in good legislation to achieve the nation's objectives.
This, when it was announced, had it been worked on with the previous government, or is this just something akin to Labor?
We're getting a little bit into hearsay, but from a number of sources, we're hearing that that the Treasury have for years tried to bring in changes to inheritance tax, to the exemptions that farmers and small businesses enjoy. Most chancellors have rightly said, "Get lost. this is absolutely not right. No, thank you very much. And this Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has gone for it. The announcement was made in late October last year. We understand that DEFRA, the Department for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, only really found out about it 24, 48 hours before the announcement. And it's most unfortunate because Labour basically campaigned to come into power. And one of the things they campaigned to come into power on is that they wouldn't make changes to agricultural property relief or business property relief. They're the inheritance tax exemptions. And Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, now Prime Minister, came to the National Farmers Union conference and said, I will not make those changes. I will protect those exemptions. And so now we're seeing completely the opposite. And from a position nationally last July, where I think we were thinking, let's give a different party a go. There have been a number of it seems like everybody across the nation, whether you're a pensioner or a farmer or whoever you are, this government has affected us in ways that we didn't anticipate and wouldn't have in our worst nightmares.
So how can the public help you achieve what you need to achieve for the farming community?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. One, your interest. It's great to have support of people, and government is steered by the electorate. They are responsible to their constituents. But there's also a crowd justice campaign, and you can search for our judicial review and find the crowd justice page. Now, we are going to need some funds. We're working with a law firm that have could slash their cost to be part of this. They really believe in this as well, but there are costs associated, and there are 6 family businesses who are stumping up a fair amount of the cash. But there is a crowd justice campaign, and you can find that on my social media, Farmer Tom, for people to contribute. And if you've got $5, $10, $20, you can pledge to be part of that and help make this significant change, which will impact family businesses, impact farms in the UK, and impact our rural economy and the rural culture.
It's a great cause, by the way. We've got about 2.5 minutes left. Tell us about Village Farm.
Oh, yeah. We farm in a very small village, about 20 miles north of Cambridge, so about 80 miles north of London. We've farmed here for about 100 years. We're a mixed farm. We are largely arable. We've got a little bit of grass for livestock. We've gone down this regenerative route in the last 10 years, although we've adopted all the kind of regenerative tenets, each in their own merit. We're passionate about helping people to see what happens on the other side of the farm gate. We run farm tours, and we actually launched a project called Farmer Time, which is now a charity, operates in Australia, and in other countries as well, where we connect farmers and teachers within the same country, so that the children can see their curriculum brought to life in front of them. So we have a great time. I'm passionate. I love farming. I love stewarding the environment around us. It's an exciting time. It's a golden age, and I'm just really hoping and praying that our government don't bring that golden age to an end.
And it could very well happen. I was just reading some of the information here too, and I left the farm because I left when I was 18 as soon as I could. I was a terrible farmer, a disappointment to my dad. But you say you're obsessive about soil, and I used to look at my hands, and my hands were they were really nice hands. And the idea of getting soil and getting there's calluses on your hands and stuff, it wasn't my cup of tea. But you're obsessed by it. Show me your hands. Are they good? No, they seem all right.
They're pretty clean this morning.
But why are you obsessed about soil? Actually, I can understand why, but tell us about that quickly.
The calluses are a badge of honour, but soil is what we rely on. I mean, if we forsake our soil, as we have done in different parts of the world, Australia, UK, across the Midwest in the US, it really can. It's one of the things that can bring our civilization to its knees. So we're obsessed by soil. Instead of trying to grow plants, we're trying to grow good soil, and the good soil will grow good plants and bring good yields and hopefully profit.
Our producer here, Jen, who you spoke to, Jen calls it dirt, and I said, never call soil dirt.
Oh.
They will run you out of the farming.
Oh, it makes me feel quite unwell.
I'll be stabbed for that. Thank you. If somebody wants to find out more about what you do, either with the farm or with this great campaign, how do they do that?
So you can reach us on social media. That's probably the best thing to do. We do have a webpage, villagefarm.org.uk, but I'm Farmer Tom on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our farm, Village Farm, is on there as well. That has a lot of commentary about things that are going on the farm, but also there'll be links to the judicial review, and people can see how they can be a part of that, and changing the government direction at the moment.
Absolutely.
So I thank you in advance for your interest and contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's Tom Martin, otherwise known as Farmer Tom, owner of the Village Farm, social media influencer, and doing a great job trying to get some sense from government and just trash the inheritance tax and save the farming industry, make life a little more enjoyable. Tom Martin, thank you very much for your time. This is the Country Telegraph. Next up, the world today.